Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to canadiantalkwithstephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah, what's your American view of Canada?
Yeah, I like it a lot here. A lot of the impressions we get, at least in Virginia, Montana, is Canada is socialist. It's bad. Everything's backwards there. Their healthcare is really slow, and I suppose.
Slow. Took me 3 years to get my shoulder surgery.
Yeah, and it's kind of divided out. But hey, thankfully you're not in Manitoba. I heard they're even slower. Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah.
Canadian Talk.
You heard the bubbles and everything.
Yeah, you can hear the bubbles.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we're rolling. That's that. We're in the new studio. Okay, Eric's looking to me to lead the way. So we're here for the first time in the studio for a test run. We've got the first setup of everything.
It's an exciting day.
How do you feel, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both feel pretty good. We're in the middle of this quarantine.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about doing this project and made goals, followed through, and here we are.
Here we are. We're sitting here, pretty much not sure what we have to talk about.
Yeah, but we have a certain list of different ideas.
Yeah, we have a few
key
ideas.
Conversation points, which should be enticing for all of our audience members to come up with their own thoughts and opinions on how these issues portray their life, especially now with the sudden events of a pandemic and economic crisis.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're in a pandemic, man. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so unbelievable. I don't even think it's real.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone with coronavirus.
Before we get into the pandemic, actually, let me introduce it a little bit. Not that we're on a fixed name or anything yet, but this is Canadian Talk. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to essentially talk to university professors, academics, people who have real training in things, and people that usually have trouble getting a voice in more modern mainstream media. So we're kind of trying to leverage that whole podcast idea. We're in Saskatchewan, which is pretty much nothing going on here, so that's why we're trying to do it here. There's a lot of people that want to get their voice out there around here that don't have any channels. So Eric isn't even from Saskatchewan. That's how parsed it is out here. But he's a PhD hopeful in his field, which is I'll just let you say it. Is Eric Pitman. He's a kind of a teacher at the U of S here in Saskatoon.
Yeah,
not a teacher, but I know they're worried about their proper terminology, but
I do a lot of teaching at the University of Saskatchewan, and yes, I am from Virginia, USA. I moved here in August 2015, and just kind of like what Stephan was saying, there's not a whole lot going on in Saskatchewan, so to add a new spin to the province and to bring more diversity, there's a lot of research going on at the University of Saskatchewan that's groundbreaking, which is attracting a lot of international students to pursue degrees in research and all sorts of professional career opportunities, occupations. And you can imagine Saskatchewan, Canada, cold, middle of the prairies, a lot of ice for a lot of the year. A lot of people slip on ice, they hurt themselves, and that's why I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm pursuing a PhD in kinesiology, and we are examining walking balance on slippery surfaces and ways to prevent and mitigate falls due to slip-induced loss of balance. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do here, and alongside with my research, I do a bit of teaching. I got more to tell you about that, some awards that I earned.
What exactly got you into academia?
What got me into academia?
Yeah, where did you start?
Well, it all started when I was finished my bachelor's degree, and I was personal training full-time, and personal training is neat, but I felt like I needed to know more. And one day, sitting at church, I'm watching old people get up from a seated position and noticing how some people struggle more than others. And I'm just looking at their body configuration or their biomechanics. And I notice a difference on, the how easy it is to stand up based on your initial posture. And so that's what motivated me to get into academia, was to understand ways we can easily adjust posture to improve quality of life.
You saw sick people at church.
Yeah,
it made you want to get into.
Yeah, old people see them struggle in church, and then
Wow.
they're sitting in just like a silly way or a non-optimal way to move. And I'm like,
wow, that's
it's
amazing.
It's like, people are like, oh, we need to make this pill. Oh, we need to do this surgery. Oh. It's like,
no, it's all exercise.
no,
right?
no. Yeah, just
we share a big
exercising the
philosophy
right
on that.
way. Because it's very multifactorial. What exercise is right for what person. So I'm a personal trainer as well. I've been personal training a year longer than I have been a researcher. So it's a nice kind of combined profession.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you've been in Canada now for a few years at the university. How long have you been here? What have you thought of Canada since you've been here compared to USA?
Yeah.
In general.
Things that stand up the most.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah. What's your American view of Canada?
Yeah, I like it a lot here. A lot of the impressions we get, at least in Virginia, Montana, is Canada is socialist. It's bad. Everything's backwards there. Their healthcare is really slow, and
Yeah.
I suppose.
Slow. Took me 3 years to get my shoulder surgery.
Yeah, and it's kind of divided out. But hey, thankfully you're not in Manitoba. I heard they're even slower. Saskatchewan has a not bad healthcare, and
That's
I think another thing I learned is equalization payments. Provinces that make more money have to pay out to other provinces that need help. It's kind of like the real socialist thing that I learned from here. But no, I understand Canadian people are great. They like to do a lot of the same things as Americans. There's more equity here. Not equality, but equity.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So say you have 3 people looking out the window here. One person is 5 foot tall, another person is 5'5", another person is 6 foot. So if you want to give them equal viewing, you'd all give them a box that's 1 foot high. Well, the person that's 6 foot tall, they don't even need a box. The person who's 5 foot, it's too much, but the person who's 1 foot, it's enough. So for the equity, give the person that's shorter the bigger box. And the person who doesn't need it, don't give them anything. So kind of like your shoulder.
I remember that from like elementary.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that's a really neat thing that I've experienced here is equity and.
Yeah. Have you noticed much difference between the people between Canadians and Americans in terms of in terms of men? What's the average American our age versus the average Canadian our age? Is there much of a difference there for men?
Not really.
In your opinion?
No, everyone, they kind of like to do the same thing, work out, drink beer, play sports, watch sports. I think there's a bigger hockey drive over here than there is, NFL, CFL. So there's difference in sports interests. Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
Is there more NFL up down there?
Yeah, I'd say more NFL. There's a big huge NHL presence, but yeah, you're definitely going to see more people interested in CFL teams here, which makes sense, yeah. And there's really barely any recognition of CFL in the U.S., Yeah.
Do people even know about it? We don't. To be fair,
everyone knows.
We don't know about We don't really know about the AHL up here, barely.
Oh yeah. I mean, it exists because that's where pros go if they get injured and need time off, or if there's going to be any up and comings that didn't come from college.
Yeah.
Come from CFL. And then CFL players that try to sneak onto college games, and that's another thing. So college sports is a huge thing in the States. So I would say
our college sports system it sucks, especially in the West.
Yeah, and then so those are kind of the big social things. That's the differences between males. And then there are political view differences and gun ownership differences, but at the same time, there's liberal Americans and there's liberal Canadians that want to have restricted safe access weapons, and there's more conservative Americans and Canadians. I doubtful to call them conservative. They should technically be liberal since they want to have more guns and more opportunities. Conservative person usually wants less or more condensed, but kind of backwards on that. But hey, so pretty much the same. Yeah,
fair enough. So men in general, Do you think a Canadian is tougher than an American?
Oh, when it comes to cold weather, undoubtedly tougher. Yeah. American men are like children, and we're like, yeah, it's 0 outside or 32 Fahrenheit. It's
For
like,
temperatures, yeah.
I need an adult.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, did you hear that Canada pulled out of the Olympics already?
yeah, the Olympics is postponed.
Oh, they postponed it.
Yeah.
Okay, like they've done that across the board now.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be next year, but you never know. They might.
Yeah,
just
they'll
cancel
just
it.
delay it, postponed it.
Yeah, they canceled convocation and they canceled the USSU teaching excellence ceremony, which I was given an award. 10 awards are given out each year for teaching excellence. Out of those 10, 1 is awarded to a graduate student, and hey, guess who got it this year?
Professor extraordinaire, Eric.
Yeah, not professor, not yet.
Almost professor.
Yep.
Might as well be. Who cares? Jordan Peterson got fired from the university that he worked at.
Yeah.
And, so that doesn't matter, right?
I'm gonna get a job at Walmart. No.
That's what we were
Yeah.
talking about. We were
Yeah,
talking about
I
getting
mean-
a job at Walmart. Stock the shelves.
Be a hero.
Yeah.
Be an Uber driver. Pick up people on your pickup truck. And
I was
sit in the
basically an
back.
Uber driver. I was a delivery man for lots of years. Yeah.
But yeah, back to the topic of differences in the United States.
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you
toughness
think,
of men. Yeah.
Do you think that men have lost touch a little bit with would you say on average that men who maybe don't have any connection to their food, don't hunt, don't do much sports, do you think that they've kind of lost touch to what it even is to be a man?
Be a man. What defines masculinity?
Yeah, what is that to you?
Versus what defines being macho?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people confuse macho with masculinity because it means someone who's a jock and someone who can use tools and someone who can, woo woman and, hunt
Those
a
are
deer.
all different types of masculine traits.
That's all macho or masculine. Is someone who can validate your feelings and treat everyone with equity and righteousness. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, everyone, masculine or feminine, does need macho-ness to be successful.
Yeah.
The charisma is out there.
So what you mean maybe is that everybody kind of needs to win at something.
Everyone needs to win at something, and just because a man hunts for food, I think femininity needs to recognize that's important for them too. You need to have your woman catching fish with you. You need to have your woman chopping up a deer with you.
Yeah.
You need to let a man breastfeed the child.
Yeah. On the other side of the coin too, I think that women also need to let men shine a little bit sometimes, because there's a lot of things that men used to be a lot more important that they did, and nowadays they don't really need to do it. That's why guys are losing touch with a lot of those types of older chores, like hunting and providing and protection and stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of times, with society, it doesn't pay to have macho-ness, where it pays to have more of a gender neutral, or not gender neutral, but a non-macho, role, just a plain masculine, plain feminine. Yeah. So yeah, like even working at the university, like there's no real reason for me to be macho there, but I'm a good speaker and decent researcher.
Yeah, I can't wait to ask you more about that. Yeah, we'll get into that.
And
for
so
sure.
yeah, you don't need to be physically strong to be a good speaker. You just need to be talented on how you can illustrate your words. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of being an academic is public presentation. Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of that aspect to it.
There's a lot of researcher professors that aren't really great speakers. But I mean, I'm not a great writer, so you can't be a rock star at everything. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. So you consider your speaking to be better than your writing?
Oh, superior.
Way superior.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it helps me with my teaching.
Yeah.
Because you can help people get interested in ways. You could be a cut and dry person, or you can pretend you're an actor of a way. And
yeah. So before, so we heard a little bit about where you're from, what you're doing. Before we get too crazy with some more interesting topics that we want to talk about that are more broad and social right now. Yeah, that's just shaking a can right now. Oh, to the audio listeners.
Bongs away.
All right, so we're gonna start a portion here where we're just gonna talk in detail a little bit about what you do before we get too deep into the hoots, into the beers, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about what you do at the university specifically, and kind of how you plan to, what you plan to do to help people. A little bit more about that and stuff. Yeah. So specifically, how long have you been at the university? Like in terms of right when you started your undergraduate and taking classes, how many years have you been doing that for?
Since I started my undergraduate?
Yeah, since you started.
My undergraduate lasted from September 2008 until December 2012.
So you've been in academia now for over 12 years.
So that was just, 4.5 years there.
Yeah.
And then my master's degree
and
started.
And you have a master's in?
Exercise science.
Exercise science.
Yep.
Science of exercise.
Yeah, it's similar to kinesiology.
Yeah.
Yep. And then my...
And what does that mean specifically? So in terms of, like, I'm a civil engineer, so that means I design buildings. What is exercise science? What does that mean for what you could do for past academia?
Yeah.
You just what do you do?
Well, in a nutshell, we study human movement to help the person perform better, and it's important to understand that.
So do you focus? You don't focus in performance though. You focus in performance in terms of repair, but you focus more on slips or
yes.
You don't train athletes or anything like that.
I've examined recreational athletes, but no, I'm not going to be on ESPN or TSN for sports science.
So what's some of your job history that you maybe had in between your academia as you went through those 12 years? What's some of your experience with working with people in terms of exercising and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'll start. I got my personal trainer certificate about 6 months before I graduated with my bachelor's degree. And I did a lot of volunteering at personal private studio gyms. I say probably the coolest experience I have, which I was not ready for at all, I wish I could start over and do it again, was a observer, not really an intern, for a few months with the strength and conditioning team of Naval Special Warfare, Group 4.
Yeah, because you're from an army family, right?
Yeah, but I didn't get this position based on family. I got this based on my skills and records from my undergraduate.
Okay.
And the position was announced through a class.
Did you get good grades?
My first couple years of university, I thought I was a geology major. I did not do well at all. My last 60 credits in exercise science, I did very well.
That was at the University of West Virginia.
Old Dominion University.
Old Dominion. Where's that again?
It's the east coast of Virginia.
East coast of Virginia. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, right.
They're doing pretty good with coronavirus right now, right? Or how are they doing? Last I heard a couple days ago, they only had one death or no deaths. Do you know how they're doing now, or?
Oh, in Virginia? Probably not great.
Yeah. So then you've done your undergrad. What was your undergrad? What did you call that?
Yeah, the degree is physical education.
So you got a physical education
with a concentration in exercise science versus physical education for schools.
Gotcha.
Or being a PE teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
Same with my master's degree. Technically, I have a MSED, a master's degree in physical education, but a concentration in exercise science. My thesis was in sit-to-stand biomechanics.
So you're mostly trained for teaching kind of stuff. Mostly trained for teaching.
Yeah, I mean, we are in the College of Education, the exercise or human movement science.
Yep.
Rather than having our own college of kinesiology at the University of Saskatchewan, or being absorbed into health science or arts and science.
Yeah, and you're a good presenter. So essentially, if we're going to put it in black and white, the reason you're here, the reason I have you here, is because you portray factual information, academic information very well, and you present it verbally, and you do it in front of people at the university.
Yep.
And everything. So that's essentially your skill set. That's why you're
professional
here.
Conferences as well.
Yeah, and you do it for yourself too, because obviously you stay in shape, right? And
well, I can't be a faker, because
so you practice what you preach.
Oh,
so that's another reason why I got great respect for you.
Yeah, and I think that kind of helps the situation with teaching as well. If you have big, strong, in shape guys like, wow, he's 30 and he's still kicking ass. Like,
exactly,
he's
or
cool.
How about 60?
Yeah, he's cool as hell. And sometimes I wonder. I don't want to get too much into it, but
now's the time.
Yeah, intrinsic bias and how much you like your instructor. If you go to rate my professors and .com, you compare the average female professor to the average male. The average female professor will always score lower than the average male.
Score lower, meaning you'll give your students lower scores?
The students will give the instructor a lower score.
If she's female.
Yeah, usually.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
There's a couple of reasons.
I'm just going to stoke the fire here.
Yeah. So, and then also, if your teacher is non-white, or if your teacher has a handicapped, or if your teacher is non-straight person.
Oh no.
Yeah, so those are all things that influence. So yeah, non-handicapped white Christian male. That's in
fit
shape.
The bill perfectly.
Yeah,
right?
So it's like
we haven't gotten into that much, but you have some religious beliefs, which is interesting and shared with more than 50% of Americans, I would say.
Yep.
I definitely don't have that, but we're still able to get along, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me into asking you. Somebody told me that you have some opinions about chemicals in the blood. I just have that written down here to do with you. What do you have to say about that? Do you have anything to say about that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Chemicals in my blood?
Yeah. What to do with something? You don't know anything about that? Tyler told me that you had something to say about chemicals in the blood.
Chemicals in the blood.
No?
Pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
THC?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Creatine?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No?
Thetans?
What's that? That's some religion. Isn't that Scientology?
Yeah.
That's when you get it scanned out of your body?
Yeah.
the thetans.
Sure it is. If he believes it, then I'm all for it. No, I'm not sure what we could talk about chemicals in blood, but hey, we could talk about exercise and what I know.
I'll
chemistry.
Get back to that. Yep. Sorry, I was gonna go get off of your main training a little bit.
Yeah.
So you speak in front of the groups and you talk about exercise science.
Yep.
And what exactly? What are some tips and some of the top things on the top of your head that you'd like to tell people in Canada about exercise and about health as it relates to exercise?
Yeah. Well, if there's 3 things that got me where I am today, it's teamwork, community, and no judgment. So to elaborate on how to improve everyone's capability of accessing exercise, is that the question you're asking? Just want to make sure.
Maybe, but just so like the average person listening, the average Canadian listening, and they're like, I can't exercise, my back hurts too much.
Okay, right.
Or I've got a bad knee.
Yep.
So I can't.
Right,
my
so
cardio. That's why my
what's
lungs
restricting
are bad.
people to getting the exercise they need? Okay,
yeah,
so
and tips and tricks. So what do you think some of the best exercises are for people who are trying to stay healthy, or very broadly, like what?
Okay, yeah,
what
I know.
are some of your
So
top
that's where I'm going for. So the teamwork, community, and no judgment. So
Yeah.
start with no judgment. No matter where you're coming from, no matter how limited you are to your exercise or restricted, we're going to find a way to make it work with our teamwork, and we have a community to address these issues.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know the resources available within their community, and even in a time like this where you can't actually go anywhere, the online resources and expertise from a lot of people can give you the proper advice, and we can talk to you and understand. So yes, if your knee does hurt, your back does hurt, whatever reason you have, we totally understand it. No judgment. Make that super clear.
I forgot to ask you, you're talking about the online community part. Where can people find you online? I know that right now you're early in the process of building a client base for your training and personal training and exercise help and advice and consulting. But where can people find you online?
Find me online. Find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yep, Eric Pitman, and then you'll see University of Saskatchewan and City of Saskatoon. Find me there.
Yeah, because you've worked with the government too as a fitness trainer.
Yep,
right?
a fitness contractor for the City of Saskatoon.
Yeah, so you've trained.
And I've worked in City of Norfolk as an employee.
Yep.
Yep.
So you could really help people out who have 9-to-5 office jobs, and old people as well. You can help improve their lives greatly in a short period of time, right?
And talking about restrictions, this is the best place you want to come is the City of Saskatoon, because we have lots of programs for group wellness, and they do what's it called when you're outside the hospital, phase 3 cardiac rehab, and they might do phase 2 cardiac rehab as well. So no matter so after someone has a heart attack, they have their surgeries, and then the phase 1 cardiac rehab will be in their bed, just getting them used to lying down to sitting up and then standing up.
Also, kind of like bed yoga.
Yep, and then some gentle walking. And then phase 2 will be monitored with telemetry or telemetry.
Telemetry?
Yeah,
Okay.
I call it telemetry.
Yeah,
But
doesn't matter.
yeah, I know how to do that, by the way. And
Okay.
yeah, then they'll watch your heart and the rhythm and cadence of your heartbeats and all the different directions it beats, and can be processed in and make sure that you're not going to have another heart attack. And they check a lot of blood pressure. And then phase 3 is no telemetry and all blood pressures and heart rates and maybe emergency. And then phase 4 is usually at your home, at your own thing, and check your own blood pressure with the automatic cuff.
So preventing those heart attacks, essentially. So essentially, once your heart starts closing up like that, that's when you're just way beyond gone of sedentary lifestyle. Your veins and arteries are getting clogged with stuff.
Yeah, you're not gonna have the energy to do it.
So for people who want to prevent that, especially because diets are only kind of getting worse. Although it's good that people are understanding the plant-based stuff a little better.
Yeah.
But essentially, what you can do to prevent that is cardio exercise, right? Cardio exercise is how you fix that.
There are some people that have heart failure for their own reasons. You know, they live a normal life and you know they just have that issue.
Yep.
But for your ordinary person that's born healthy and projected to be healthy, but they succumb to society and the diet of the Western world.
Yeah, they might just be busy. They have to work a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, you know, life happens to a lot of people. You know, it's easy to judge. Remember I talked about no judgment. It's easy to call people fat. It's easy to call you a pound cake. There's all sorts of terrible names. Pound cake. I need more ham. If I don't get some fucking ham right now, I'm gonna have a stroke. No, see, so it's so easy to do those things, and it's so wrong. It doesn't make it right. And hey, I'm probably gonna be shamed right now, but whatever. Just
I
being
think
real.
fat shaming is okay, just so you guys know out there. I really do.
Yeah.
I have sympathy for anybody who has, what do you call it when it's in the family?
Genetic or hereditary.
Hereditary. I have sympathy for the
predisposition
hereditists.
to obesity. I'm not sure how true that is, but
I
mean,
if you're
there's
fat
probably
because you're lazy, I'm
facts.
sorry, I got no sympathy for you.
Yeah, and so that's the ultimate issue is look, no judgment. Wherever you're at,
You gotta be honest with where you're at.
The best day to start is today.
Yeah,
and,
you gotta be honest with where you're at. That's what it
and
comes
if you
down
can't
to.
start today, then let's start tomorrow. We're gonna do something. Something's better than nothing.
Isn't that kind of funny too? How sometimes people, their body and their mind can be hypocrites of each other.
Yep.
Like you'll see a person who is really honest, and but they'll be super fat, and it's like, okay, that's great that you're honest with other people, but you're not being honest with yourself and your own body.
And
every
it's
day.
not so much what they can do to themselves, it's also how you influence their lifestyle. So are you enabling subconsciously? Like, are you giving someone a ride to the store to buy liquor? So if someone needs a ride to the alcohol store, you
There's
can
a pad
tell
for
them.
the chair up there too. If you wanted a pad for that chair.
Oh, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you
okay.
though.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's like you can go for a walk, dude. If you're going to a liquor store, if you need a ride to the airport or something,
That makes sense. But
or a ride to
Get your
work,
luggage.
and it's like, but it's like, no, eat a dick, dude. Like, yeah. So, but a lot of people, will succumb and give people rides to McDonald's and stuff like that. And so, just be mindful, like what you buy, what you do when you hang out with others that are trying to lose weight. Like, it's easy to sit around on the sofa and smoke pot and play Nintendo, or you could say, hey, let's go shoot some hoops, or go for a walk, or go for a hike. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So those are things that, it's just as much of a priority for you to help the change as a person to change themselves.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said. All right. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it so far. You're a pretty young guy, so you're kind of still working your way up there.
Yeah.
You're extremely qualified to train people and help people improve their lives, which I think is one of the most noble professions out there.
Yep.
Because even though you're not touted as an MD, give me a fucking break. Kate, I like them because they're the plumbers of the body. They're fixing the problem when it comes finally.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like the installers of like you're earlier on in the process. You're trying to help people before their fucking throats clog up. You know.
Yeah.
The fire's shooting at us right now.
Or
That's the other thing I didn't mention. If you guys can see, we have a fire burning. That's one of our gimmicks on our show.
Pretty neat.
We have a live fire
Yeah.
during the podcast. Keep us warm.
Yeah. So what
was
you're
I talking
saying
about?
is a physician is a glorified electrician.
Yeah.
A surgeon is a glorified mechanic, and the nurse is someone who just keeps working on you while you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
So what a personal trainer does, they're working on you while you're still healthy.
Yep.
And we're always there for you. We need to see you as much as possible. Unfortunately, personal trainers, they got to make a living, so it's not cheap to get training. And training usually, at least to my knowledge, is not covered by secondary health insurances.
But yeah, so I think that's really noble, man. That's what you do. More noble than what I do, which is shit nothing.
Shit nothing. Hey, you're giving me a place to live.
Yeah. So cool. So that's you, man. I'm glad to hear about all that. I'm glad to hear that you came to Canada and you found success in our academic system.
Oh yeah, like the time spent in Canada has only been great. It's only improved my career. It's only made me not only a better person morally, but more skillful and
academics have great value.
Yeah, and just improved my overall capacity to do work and do more intense work, and to understand my true strengths and limitations and where I should go succeed next.
Exactly. That's the other reason why I like to talk to you most, is because it's funny. I see you as having as much capability as humanly possible, but without stepping out really into the real world quite yet. So you have all the skills to do all the good, but you just haven't quite done it yet. And but it's exciting time, and but the potential's there.
And it's just gonna be stepping stones. So like when it comes to teaching, probably not gonna land a full lecturer position at a university.
So actually, I was gonna ask you. Sorry to interrupt. Future plans. Yeah.
Future plans.
Yeah, you're planning to make money as you can and work your way up in the academic. You plan to be leaving U of S soon, I believe.
Yeah, before leaving U of S, I was more interested in finding a exercise specialist role or fitness director role.
And I don't actually think we continued after your undergraduate when we were talking about your academic history either, did we? What was after your undergraduate? You went to do your master's.
Yep,
where?
Master's, Old Dominion University, same
Old Dominion.
institution as my undergraduate.
Gotcha.
For,
and
August.
Then you came to U of S.
Yep, then U of S.
Yep.
Yeah, I was anticipating to leave at the end of May, but due to the current pandemic circumstances, I extended my lease to the end of August. And
It's pretty. You don't have to be. I'll cut this out. 31. You don't have to be so specific about your dates.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody. Just say more general on that one.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
So
General.
you are planning to leave the U of S pretty
hey.
soon, because they a little bit of the story there, if we can broaden out a little bit. It was funny, we were talking a lot about how I thought that academics was a great industry, but they're is this full here?
Yep.
You mind if I have this a
you
little
go
bit
for
here?
it. Yeah.
Great industry, but it can be especially hard for just like the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math are hard for women. Academia can be a little bit hard for men.
It can be hard for everybody.
They expect you to be a saint, hey?
Yeah. So earning that PhD, they have to make sure you have a certain credibility and a certain reliability.
And to help, sorry to interrupt, but to help people understand what a PhD is, because I know so many people don't understand this. To be recognized for a PhD, not only medical doctors are doctors, people. PhD is philosophy doctorate, and you have to get your PhD, your institution has to recognize that you changed social discourse in a way with your research, right? That's one of the primary things you have to accomplish, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, essentially, you have to conduct a series of projects that has a certain amount of impact. Yeah.
Impact.
Yep.
Yes.
Whereas your master's degree, you conduct one project where the impact, it'd be nice if there was some, but if there isn't, no big deal.
It's practice.
Yep, and you just get experience writing and maybe a little bit of TA work.
Yeah.
During your PhD, you're expected to do some teaching for a full class level.
Yeah.
You're expected to do a series of projects that have higher impact, that are publishable, And then you're also expected to have a writing requirement for grants to granting funding agencies, and you explain why your project's important and why it deserves money.
So all that kind of bullshit that you have to do really gets in the way of you trying to make a difference in the world with the knowledge that you're fucking gaining.
Well,
that's my problem with academia a little bit is they don't give you enough fucking time.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's nice. I wouldn't call it bullshit, but
no, I didn't mean it in that way.
But I mean, it's a lot going on.
It's a lot of stuff. But
PhD.
they do have to filter out. Yeah, they have to filter out the people that don't deserve it.
And then people that can manage all that work at once, because being a professor is a rather intense job. Just like being a physician at a hospital would be a very intense job. So you're expected to fund not only your salary, but to fund your department or your college.
Yeah, they gotta make sure they keep out guys like me.
So I talk about I had to write one grant, and it didn't matter how much it's worth. There's a certain expectation while people are their first professor level, the assistant professor, which pays nice, but you're expected to be getting so much grant money each year. And you have to be an excellent writer, which is partially one of the reasons why I don't think I want to be a professor, and why after my experience with my PhD, I was more interested in finding work as a fitness specialist. There's some pretty decently paying fitness specialist jobs, and I know a lot about fitness. But then recently, after the news of this Teaching Excellence Award, should I be an instructor maybe? So I'm keeping that idea open.
Keep your hopes high, man. I definitely think you should.
Yeah, so, and then a lot of people said they enjoy my teaching, and I'm like, well, am I actually a good teacher, or am I just, that perfect, person that has the intrinsic bias?
That fits the role.
Kind of like that Natalia lady who annexed Russia, but she's a non-handicapped, straight Christian white lady,
Yeah.
but no
to get some
disabilities.
background on that, you're talking about the American lady that. So what he means is that he fits. The reason that he thinks he fits a job where he can be in front of people is because he fits an image of what he should look like.
Yeah.
Just like the girl, this lady in the news, she's a small, meek little lady. They used her to go in front of the public to annex
Crimea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I
she fits the bill for being intimidating.
Yeah, and sweet and lovable. And it's okay if she annexes Crimea, but if you were me to do it,
harm.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a big tough looking guy up there.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's awesome, man. And I hope things keep going with all that academia. And and I was gonna ask you about because we were talking about academia and how it can be hard for men. Because it's such a liberal crowd in that workplace. Do you want to talk at all about what happened at the U of S at all? Because I feel like we were talking a lot about that, and then you had a run-in with a potential somebody who we don't have to name, but there was I guess you're named, so we wouldn't want to, because people would know your associates.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So do you think that that causes a problem? Those types of things, the way that disputes are handled. The way that certain people who are maybe being oversensitive don't have anybody around them to snap them out of their delusion.
Yeah, I think when people get overly stressed out, they make a big deal over a small situation, and it can be easy to take it out on someone that
that happens in all workplaces.
Yeah,
but man, it's particularly bad in academia.
And so when I meant the benefit of my current status as being a good teacher, it also makes you an easy scapegoat. And it's like, well, he's privileged. He can get in trouble, and I won't get hurt.
And they can fire you for what you say and stuff, right? Just like just like with Jordan Peterson. So it's that's unfair, I think.
Yeah.
So. And not that you got fired, you didn't get fired, but
no, but I wasn't.
Other people could be at risk of that, which I don't like. I wish that academia was a little bit less sensitive.
Yep.
It would allow for more, because academia is supposed to be controlled disagreements. Academia at its best is meant to be people debating, meant to be people advancing knowledge and ideas by discussing them.
Yep. And then you don't want to have silly art in 13th Street. Podcast.
All right, here we go.
Action.
We're back with Eric Pitman, the exercise science extraordinaire.
Good afternoon. I hope you all are doing as well as me. Now listen up. I'm only going to say this once, okay? I'm serious. Saying this once. Would have been a podcast. Pilot. First time.
Pilot, baby.
I'm finished talking about all this exercise and thesis and research and important things, and now the direction of this podcast is going to be to topics that we can all have some sort of input.
We'll all commonly be pissed about these topics or in awe about these topics. So, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. That's kind of why we both have the free time to even put this all together. Make
Exactly.
This beautiful podcast. By the way, this is the studio with this is real
Got him on camera.
real wood walls here. Freaking beautiful. All built by hand. We may be actually the first podcast that was actually built by hand by the creator.
Fanny pack.
Yeah, we're rocking fanny packs. And yeah, this podcast studio was built by hand from the ground up by me and Eric.
I helped a little bit, but
You helped a little bit.
Not a lot though.
Yeah.
Just some. Yeah, if there's like a big thing, maybe 2-person to push up, I do that quick. But
Yeah.
like all
Lifting
these
walls.
things were cut by Stephan. You know, all the lights were put up by Stephan. The poster,
Yeah.
campfire stove.
Yeah. So this is just one of the many rooms in the studio area here. We are going to have a second studio up higher on the loft, which will be the Getting High studio, which will be where we'll actually be slamming hoots harder than we did today.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't noticed,
If you
as
think
most Canadians are, we are pro weed and definitely pro kokanee.
Yep.
Kokanee is the best beer for the price.
And
if anybody likes
pro
beer.
water.
Pro water.
And then also, you might not see it on the camera, but this cup says Banff, Canada, and I was drinking coffee out of this.
So also another thing that would be good to come to this podcast for is I played hockey growing up, so I'm gonna have a lot of hockey input that I'll be talking about regular games going on.
Yeah, I didn't play any hockey, but I recently started to appreciate hockey. I've been drafted into the community of the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm an Oilers fan by default now.
So he's a big fan.
Yep.
That's good.
Go Bear.
Yeah. So, pandemic. What do you think about this? So they say that Italy. It's pretty sad. What is the percentage of people that died there? Like they say.
Yeah, like 5% or something.
5% of total population, or of their people 60 plus.
There's charts online that can tell you who's been affected,
we don't
how
know, folks, don't
more
come to us
affected.
for those facts.
And you know, like I bet a lot of people are infected, but I think a lot of people that are dying are those with compromised immune systems, which more often than not does include old folks. But hey, it also includes folks that eat like shit and drink and smoke constantly.
Yeah, like Italians.
And you know, and Italians do. And you know, a lot of people are drinking sugary pop and soda and candy and cigarettes. We're not talking like classic old stogies where you don't actually inhale. Like they're having like gnarly cigarettes. They're not smoking enough weed.
They wake up every day with the goal to do as much stuff to kill themselves as fast as possible.
And then, you know, another thing about Europeans, not all Europeans are like this. Some Europeans are super cool. They're like Canadians. But other people, they like kiss each other on the cheeks and shit. They're like, oh, buongiorno. And it's like, fuck, man, don't
That's
kiss
probably
me.
why they have corona, is from all that kissing, right?
Seriously. And then it's like, oh, grandma, I see you're sick. It's like, God, okay, that was a little, you know, over the top putting on that accent. But, yeah, you know, I'm just trying to illustrate the point that coronavirus in Italy has been a severe issue.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be making light of it too much because, right, it is sad. It is sad, right? People are sick, but my personal opinion, if I could speak candidly for a second, is that I'm not too concerned about it. I think it is just a strong flu. At the end of the day, it's contagious. I think that a lot of the reason that it's getting so sensationalized is because Trump took that funding out of the pandemic unit 4 years ago. And I think for the last 3 years, they've been plotting and planning. They're like, oh, we're going to get him. That's been... What's that unit called? The Department of probably Pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And he's like, no. And it's like, we got to save money. We can't have these pandemic units. And it's like, oopsie daisy. But you know what? Hey, I have great news. We don't have a cure, but we do have a treatment. And it seems that for certain people, effective treatments are similar medications used for pericarditis, gout, and for rheumatoid arthritis. It's an anti-inflammatory, which can help slow the intensity of the coronavirus, and so can help keep people alive. So you're still going to be infected, but at least we can treat you better than what we could have a few months ago.
So you're not necessarily going to die.
Even though a lot of people are worried in the United States that holy biscuits, dude, we just finished spring break. We just finished the cherry blossoms at Washington, D.C. People are going to flock back to their home states and cities and just spread this like crazy, and everybody's going to die. Well, hey, we already have therapeutic modalities to treat the anti-inflammatory, which may mitigate the intensity of the disease or virus.
Yeah. Here's something that made me stop panicking. every single person on the planet could get this disease.
Virus.
This virus, sorry.
Yeah.
Virus. So virus is something that's already in all of our bodies already. It just has to be triggered. So
Yep.
we all have it already. So anyway, everybody could have it activated. Everybody could get sick, and the population of our planet would go from 8 billion to 7 billion.
Yeah.
Nothing would change. It's nothing. No more than 1 billion people are going to die. There, 80% of people would live if everybody on the globe got it.
Yeah, I think.
Am I overstepping by saying that? But that's kind of where we're at, right? There's people that would not die from this disease.
Yeah, there's.
Or do you think that it's global unrest and economic collapse that would cause the deaths of the masses?
I think, like there is like
Chaos.
around 10,000-ish people have died so far. So
That's
it might exceed the current flu. But I think people are just looking for a reason to freak out.
And blame Trump.
Yeah.
And get off of work for a little while.
Yep.
And do their spring cleaning.
Yeah. But imagine if we didn't get off from work, then probably like 40,000 or 80,000 people would die.
Oh, hey, I'm not saying it's bad for people to get off work.
And you know what? I think at the end of the day,
but I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. Like, I think that it's bad. I'm glad we're handling it seriously. But I think the way that they're talking about it is simply a political thing against Trump. It's a large.
And
and I'm not pro-Trump.
And hopefully the disease or virus is controlled by like September, October, along that time, give or take. And you know what? And then once logistics can return to normal, like hopefully, your mutual funds and stocks have all gone downhill unless you mess with Imperial and Walmart, which I doubt many. Anyway, then once logistics kick back, and then hopefully we can see this go blue to blue, or at least blue to do. So it'll get better. It might not return to normal for a little while, but I mean, it's like
because this is the dark arts a little bit.
And then
ultimately people dying is that's ultimately an economic stimulus, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what else? The people that are dying are all the fat people and old people and people with diabetes and disease and all these people that cost all this money for our health insurance.
We don't mean that. They're wonderful people.
Yep.
We're not Nazis.
And it even includes.
We're not Nazis.
And
disclaimer.
And if I am talking seriously, Stephan and I are at just as equal risk of these people due to our habits of consuming cannabis and alcohol.
I thought you were going to say, if we can be completely honest, we are Nazis.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, no. Everybody's at risk, and
Nazis suck.
Yeah, I'm not saying death is good, but I'm saying nobody should be panicking.
Actually, no, you
because
shouldn't be mean to people.
Less people does mean more opportunity. So nobody forget that. Everybody stay optimistic.
Yeah, and
keep trying to keep your habits healthy. Keep exercising to keep your immune system up, and that's the goal there.
And another.
So as that leads us into Trump, the coronavirus leads us into Trump a little bit. What's some of your greater opinions on the president of your country, who used to be the host of You're Fired?
Trump
You're Fired
is my commander-in-chief, and
yes,
I will go die in war for him. Fuck no. I'm not gonna go to war for nobody. Not even for a babe. Not even for that Natalia babe from Ukraine, Crimea. She's older than me. I think she's married, but anyway, no, I mean, I think he's a not bad guy, I think Hillary's not, a great person either, but she's not bad.
Quickly, what do you think of the whole plan? Because I know everybody's just trying to take down Trump, like that's obviously the plan, but what do you think of Biden's ideas to, he had a recent tweet that said, my running mate will be a woman. Meaning his vice president will likely be, we know this, his vice president will likely be Hillary Clinton. And as we all know, he has dementia. The guy is fucked. So he will have to step down. And then Hillary Clinton will be the first female president by default as the vice president. So what do you think of that plan to take Trump down?
Sneaky.
That's smart. Isn't that smart?
Sneaky smart.
That is smart.
People to do that. And I think I smell a conspiracy, and it doesn't smell nice. But then, at the end of the day, Trump recognizes that this could be a serious issue. And he knows that, wow, I am like overextended being a president. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
He's overextended being a president.
But he's a bit older.
No, I don't I agree.
I think everyone would be like, hey, if I got a chance to, pass it off to someone cool. But, at the same time, this coronavirus, unless everyone's going to mail in their vote or something, then are they going to cancel the election?
Maybe this will be what will get internet voting.
Yeah.
This will be what'll start internet voting.
And we're all going to vote for Bernie.
Yes, so that's who you're pro. You want Bernie to win, eh?
That would be cool.
It'd be interesting.
And then the United States.
You
Hang on.
bankrupt the USA in 4 years.
Get ready to hear this, everybody. I hope put your ears back on. The United States is going to join the Commonwealth, and Bernie Sanders is going to be the first Prime Minister of America, and Queen Elizabeth II is going to be our head of state. Yep, no more president. We're going to be the Queen is going to rule America too. Yeah, basically that's what it seems like with Bernie Sanders' rules. It's going to be more Canadian, if anything, governance and socialism. Yeah,
because he won't get, because that's the thing that people don't realize. You know, when they talk about him draining all the money to pay for university, he won't get everything done that he says he's going to get done, but he'll get some stuff done.
Yeah,
which is what it's good for. You know.
Yeah, and you know, this might kind of change people's minds, especially after this corona thing. If people really do get sick, like they are anticipating right now, and if these therapeutic modalities I mentioned are less of, yeah, there's going to be more appreciation for policies to have good
governance.
So we could go a lot of different ways with this. Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign has already raised money for the COVID-19 cause.
Yeah. Just so, before we get into anything else, I did just want to summarize my political views. I'm not a fucking right-wing person.
Yeah?
You don't think I'm right-wing?
I'd say you're kind of like right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a right-wing person. I believe I'm completely bipartisan, right in the center. I'm not a centrist, though.
Yeah, you're just a smart person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see the political system as just kind of a. It's like
you know,
what can I think of on the spot?
I
It's just
could
a
think of
pendulum
something.
swinging back and forth, and each time though, sand is falling, and the pendulum is working its way up.
You know what I see it like that. But you know the Hotel Rwanda movie where they got. You ever see that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's like the Hutus and the Tutsis or something like that.
Tragic story.
And you know, it's like the British and the French, you know, colonialists, you know, intentionally separate these two people so they can go back. So it's intentionally decided by your government to have two parties, and so you'll be assholes to each other, unless you're Chinese, where you just have a one-party
assholes
system.
to each other, though, or critical of each other, because that's ultimately what we're going for.
Exactly,
right?
and
it's a little crazy. I think the whole impeachment thing is unfair. I don't think that they should be critical of each other, having these meetings and critiquing their decisions, but they shouldn't be like, this guy needs to be removed because of his conduct all the time. I don't think that they should be throwing that around.
I like the idea of democracy, how, you know, oh, excuse me. Pardon me.
We got our first burp. We got our first burp count.
Hey,
50 minutes.
Hey,
yeah.
So that way you have different ideas, and so that way you can think of the best idea and work together as a team, you know? It's like same thing with researchers. We have personal trainers and engineers working together. Why would you want to call each other assholes? So we work great together. But unfortunately, in the current political climate, the people aren't working together so well. And that's why people are resorting to more socialist structure.
Do you think that's that echo chamber effect and kind of everybody thinking that their ideas are right?
You know, there's a sweet spot. Like, you don't have a democracy that's too big like India because they don't get stuff done. And America is debatably a little too big. But Canada's a democracy, and they seem to be doing just pretty good, you know?
Okay.
Unless you're an oil field worker, then you're going to be like, Trudeau was fucked, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not Trudeau's fault that oil is cheap. It's the rest of the world can't figure out how to... And, yeah, that oil's another conversation point. No,
So Trump is your president.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I think he's kind of fat.
I'm not pro-Trump, but I do think that the way that I would summarize, and I've had so many fucking long debates about this, but the way that I would summarize the responsibilities of the president is not, it doesn't extend very far beyond figurehead, punching bag, and so on. And Trump, if I was to evaluate Trump in those areas, he's done great from distracting any type of criticism away from his administrators and on to him alone, which is what presidents should do. He's alive, so he's managed to keep himself secure, which is a very important job of the president of the United States, so that wars don't start.
Yeah.
And he's also done a good job. And this is the third thing that Obama did this too, because everybody liked how he was such an eloquent speaker and everything.
Yeah.
But Trump has done an amazing job of building nationalism, like pride for the country. So Americans again wanting to build infrastructure in their country, not just make profit by outsourcing labor. Americans now, for some reason, because of Trump, love their country again. They want to invest in infrastructure in their country. He has reinvigorated the economy in a way by his figureheadness and representing what Americans want their president to be. Somehow he has reinstilled an excitement for Americans.
And you know, like Trump is the first person to the president is the first person to get things done. And I think it's really easy to talk about.
I wouldn't say he's the first guy to get things done, but he's getting things done.
No, what I mean by that is, it's really easy to badmouth Trump.
It is easy.
And a lot of people want to, but at the end of the day, this guy is making peace deals with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Yeah, so it's like,
He's
hello.
not afraid.
I don't think anyone else has done that. So at the end of the day, people are saying, it's like, oh, well, he has no political or military experience. Why is he qualified to do this? And it's like, well, why not?
And other than this pandemic dip, you cannot. I do say this all the time. I'm not going to be the typical dummy saying, "Oh, the economy's high." Well, look at he says the economy's high, but isn't it? I mean, it's better than it was.
And we were just on a good progressive upward. We were more productive.
Yeah, economies will always go up.
Yeah,
but I think it's that nationalism. That's what has everything improving.
Yes. Nationalism and make America great again. There's a lot of Canadians wearing those hats.
He's got a lot of good simple slogans. He knows how to be a politician. He knows how to rally. He knows how to rally the masses.
He knows how to get people worked up. He knows how to instill motivation.
Worked up positively though and negatively.
Yep. We're gonna do it, everybody. We're gonna make it great again. Bernie Sanders. You don't hear people chanting Hillary.
Nothing will happen. He'll just have a boring term.
Katy Perry made that one song for Hillary Clinton. This is our fight song.
Oh. Was that made for Hillary Clinton?
I don't know. But I mean, she was playing that song a lot after her speeches and stuff. Yeah. But no, I mean, at the end of the I keep saying at the end of the day, but should we be commenting so hard? Like, I bet people are listening or watching to this podcast.
Yep.
It's like, who are these two guys?
You're right. That's what
wearing
the point of this is, though. We're just
wearing jogging pants, and they think they have the authority and audacity to make these claims.
This is a Comedy Store sweater. That's the church of the modern scientific person.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt from a family reunion.
See,
Hey, it's my jogging shirt. Relax.
That's good. Yeah, we went for a run before this, and I did yoga before this to get us all pumped up. What was I going to say? I believe comedy. This is one of my many views on comedy. I believe it to be comedians to be the preachers of the secular age. So in the same way that there's preachers for Christianity and things like that, they preach moral stories.
Exactly.
Comedians are a lot like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Another hoot? Should we slam another hoot here? We're at our first 1 hour mark, so we're 1 hour in. We're gonna slam another hoot.
Do we got a poker stick or something, or a nail?
Yeah, I'll use my pencil here, and I'm gonna give you a nug back after this because we're both poor at the moment. This is episode 1. That's why we're poor.
Yeah.
And here we go. So we're gonna pop another hoot in us for some more podcast.
There we go.
Here we go. We're smoking Tweed Sativa, great strain that we got from Prairie Records here in town.
Yeah.
21% sativa, and it was only $25 an eighth, which is $50 a quarter, which is damn right affordable.
So when you
affordable, damn right.
After taxes, 11% of 25 is like $275 or so.
Yeah. So sorry, taxes on there too.
Yeah. So even then, it's
$60.
like $28. It's like, hey, for 3.5 grams, that's cheaper.
Means you can get an ounce for $240, $250. So that's $40-$50 markup. So if you're smoking weed and you're buying ounces, which most people do, as the quantity, and you have a problem with $40 more for your ounce, you have a money problem. So anyway, so far I would like to happily announce, I would say, that so far the marijuana pricing and system and quality so far of the marijuana being sold in stores is good. So legalization is going strong. They say that mushrooms are a close next. who knows what might happen there, hey?
Yeah, we're getting trippy.
Yeah. I think anything that can grow in the ground and isn't chemically altered or chopped up like cocaine, like I know that cocaine is those leaves. But as long as it's not chemically altered or chopped up, I see it to be okay.
Yeah.
So like maybe mushrooms and weed is really my two that I approve of.
Yeah,
But not for anybody below 25.
Yep.
And it has to be done with a healthy lifestyle. You can't sit around and smoke weed all day. Just like fucking Joe Rogan says, the fucking Messiah. People can turn cheeseburgers into an untenable drug. Untenable? Is that the right word? What is untenable? So that's what we're at with that. And so lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about a very stigmatized topic that we touched on earlier. And I know that you use it a lot as its political game.
Prop my feet up here. Yeah.
All right, let's put our feet up in front of the fire.
Yeah.
So, religion.
Yep.
This has nothing to do with you as a scientist or a fitness helper and a health helper for people in need.
Yeah.
You're great in those areas. Religion can be used as a ploy a lot of ways politically and for job security.
Yeah.
I would say you taught me that more than anything because I used to denounce it because I thought it made me seem smart. And then I realized that your approach to it was a lot smarter. Even though, you do have some beliefs anyway. So I'll just stop talking here for a second. So tell me a little bit about what you think about religion.
Well, I told this to my nephew when he was, he's 10 years old now. I think I told him he was 7. He asked me, why do people go to church? And I say, your average person doesn't go to church because they believe, they do it for their political career. So remember that at the end of the day, if you have to live your life by a certain political standard, like you have to be, a trustworthy person and all that, there's the intrinsic bias that if you're a Christian, you're probably going to be a law-abiding citizen who doesn't do drugs or, gets into crimes.
Do you think that intrinsic bias could ever end?
Depends how Christian you are, If you're...
Because there's a lot of people out there that might intrinsically bias you the other way. Because I did originally, I was worried at first when you said, oh, I'm religious. And then you said, oh, I see what its advantages are. And I was like, oh, okay, so I get why you're religious.
Yeah, you have to be careful who you say that to. So if you're saying that to, the university stuff, you're probably okay. But if you're going to a party and you're trying to, court a lady.
Yeah. So this is advice.
Like
this is advice to young religious kids out there, right? You're saying be careful who you tell your.
Yeah,
be
like
careful.
It's probably not going to work so good at the bar.
Yeah.
Unless
realize what it's meant for. Make sure you keep your religion in its lane.
It's a great way of putting it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a key word to remember. Keep your religion in your lane.
In its lane, yeah. So it's religion talk isn't meant for parties. Isn't meant for. If somebody's confrontational already, don't provoke them.
Yeah, if you see someone...
don't be the Phelps Ropers. Do you know who the Phelps... I'm so glad I thought of their names right now. The Phelps Ropers. Do you know who they are? They're a famous family that are... I'm not sure if they would call themselves evangelical, but they Baptist Christian...
Yep.
They're hardcore Christians who believe that being gay is a sin, and and they talk about it like that.
Yeah, and another thing as far as my religion, idea goes, and what I preach to my nephew is Godfather, that don't be like the Phelps Ropers who are going to try to preach you or harass you or intimidate you that you're not going to church. And I even know a lot of people that are Catholics that harass and intimidate others because of their lack of faith, quotation marks for faith. Yeah, so you stay in your lane, live society the way society is legally set up, that you have to have that we include people that don't fit the Christian standard, but still include Christ or whatever you're into your life. People, they tell me, if I tell someone,
so what do you think are the benefits of religion?
Benefits of religion? It's community. It's a place of no judgment. If you're...
But some people might stop you there and say that there's a lot of judgment. Some people say that
Oh, okay, yeah.
So how do you say that?
You got to go to the right place.
Okay, see, and I agree with that, and that's a little thing that a lot of times people want to characterize religion. And again, I'm not pro-religion either, but I'm saying a lot of times people want to characterize religion as to what the Phelps Ropers do, and that isn't necessarily always the case.
If you look at our Pope,
the masses, for the most part, want to do good. And religion is meant to help the people in need. And it does take advantage in the sense they don't have to pay taxes and things like that. But most of that money, other than supporting the pastor, who governs all the stuff that's going on in that church, which he does deserve, he needs some money to live. So there is some waste that can be allowed. Most of that money gets put back into the community, and it builds good infrastructure. If anybody says that churches aren't building good infrastructure, they're wrong. I'm as a civil engineer, I love churches. They're beautiful buildings. Yeah. At the end of the day, if religion ever gets repurposed into a different type of name where people won't see it as, it connected to the fake old books that were written, they'll see it as a new thing where it's just moral guidance here, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just moral guidance stories, and it comes up with a new name. They can still use those buildings. That's what's so great about them. Those buildings will always be there. So the money that religions keep is good. But if you're investing in infrastructure, that's always good.
And the idea of church, like, you don't have to believe in the hocus pocus that if you eat this cracker you're going to be divine. But it gives you an opportunity to step away from reality for an hour and just sit and relax. And it's a good opportunity for mindfulness.
For sure.
And people are in a good mood there, so you're surrounded by people in a good mood.
Yes,
and that really good. That can really help out people.
Yes. And for people, just so you know, for people out there who are against this idea, because what he's saying is all true about what religion provides, there is other things too, like yoga.
Yeah, yoga
things like that
is a great way to go to sports, CrossFit. If you want to go to the pub, like, if people are in good moods there.
Yep.
But if you need to save some money or all that.
Yep.
And then also
when
they talk about no judgment, I bet if you go to one of those big Baptist churches in southern USA, if you're a homeless, drug addicted, gay prostitute that has AIDS, I'm sure they're going to immediately shun you and call the police on you.
Exactly.
But Pope Francis, our current Pope, he was the guy in Brazil that was taking in those people,
But is he also the guy who said that condoms don't prevent AIDS?
Oh, no.
I thought that was Pope Francis.
No, not Francis. He doesn't say that. He's still...
Was that the Pope before him who got removed?
Yeah, Pope Francis still preaches celibacy. And
but that's what I'm saying. Isn't that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's saying that. But do you have to understand what he means in the greater meaning of it? He preaches celibacy. What he means by that is he means condoms don't work. If you were to ask him, "Hey, Pope Francis, do condoms work?" He would say, da 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 da. He'd have a political answer where he'd work around it. And his belief is that they don't work, or that they're a sin, or that they're against God's will.
Yeah. So, but I want to say
that, in my opinion, is that type of literal interpretation of the Bible is what is rotten in religion. I do think that the moral stories and the community of people gathering at churches is very good.
Yeah, so I think what you said there really does hit a very important point, that even though Francis does take in homeless, gay, take in certain people, he did say something that says he does condemn the use of condoms and birth control.
He does.
So a lot of Christian communities don't use it at all, and they're catching AIDS and stuff.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Like,
I know it's mostly Africa.
Yeah, Central America too.
We have to understand that these people they don't maybe understand things as much as the West, and they're still using religion in some of the ancient ways, and
so it's like
we gotta be careful.
It's like, fuck, man. It's like you're so progressive helping out that person, that the AIDS and drug addiction, but you just came so close to telling people to use condoms.
I know.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, he's allowing, homosexuality to be okay in the Catholic faith. You can still receive your communions and stuff, but yeah, they still got a long way to go.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're making progress, and I think the big thing I want to address for religion is religion steps in to help the community when the government can't. So our governments are very strong in Canada and the United States, where we have a lot of societies that can help take care of people. But the Salvation Army is a nonprofit organization that is Christian, that takes in people. No matter what you are, as long as you have a beating heart, we'll take care of you. And despite all those things you hear about the new Salvation Army, fuck the person making that decision. If you have a beating heart and you need help, come to the Salvation Army.
Yep.
And think of Mexico, where the government can't step in for all the illegal immigrants, for the refugees from Central America facing the violence of drug cartels. The government can't help those people, but these Christian Catholic faith communities are.
They'll always be there for you.
Yeah, so speaking to the hipster that, was traumatized by Christian, that had someone abusive come to them and ruin, religion to them, that these people can help and make a difference, and that it's unfortunate intimidation still exists within all faiths, but, it's how people together can use their power to overcome this and fight the Illuminati and the Freemasons and all the other shadow governments that force these things to happen.
And on that note, so we can be excited for the next one. We're through in a little more than an hour now. That was so great to talk to you, man. We got lots more to talk about. We'll definitely have you back on. So that'll be it for us today with Canadian Talk with Stephan. Thanks everybody for listening and giving us some of your time. The light in me bows to the light in you.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Canadian Talk.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. Also, we have a website. Check us out at CanadianTalkWithStephanPodcast.com for the back catalog of all of our episodes. And we also have all of our video podcasts on YouTube. And then we're on all of the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Thanks for listening.